My dear students of 11th class, and today in our botany we are going to take up the micronutrient toxicity. And this is to remind you here that previously we have discussed about the symptoms of the deficiency symptoms of the essential elements. And now, how can these micronutrients prove toxic if when they are taken in or present in a particular soil in excess or taken up by the plant more than the required quantity, that the micronutrients when taken up by a plant or absorbed by a plant more than what is the required amount, they may prove toxic. And once again I want to remind you that the two types of the nutrients that are utilized by the plants are categorized into the macronutrients and the micronutrients. The macronutrients include carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. These macronutrients are the nutrients which are required by the plants in greater proportions, comparatively greater proportions. And the next category is the micronutrients, the nutrients that are required by the plants in lesser amounts are categorized as the micronutrients. And the micronutrients include iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, nickel, and chlorine. And now, how can these micronutrients be proved toxic to a particular plant? And this today we are going to take up in detail. The requirement of the micronutrients is always in low amounts, while their moderate decrease causes the deficiency symptoms that we have already discussed, and a moderate increase in the micronutrient concentration can cause toxicity, as they can prove fatal or they can prove otherwise to the plants or negate the development of the plants. In other words, there is a narrow range of concentration at which the elements are optimum. The range at which the elements are optimum is very narrow. Any mineral ion concentration in tissues that reduces the dry weight of the tissues by about 10% is considered toxic. Once again, the mineral ion concentration in tissues that reduces the dry weight of the tissues by about 10% is considered toxic. As such, critical concentrations vary widely among different micronutrients. The critical concentrations vary widely among different micronutrients. The toxicity symptoms are difficult to identify. These symptoms, because they can merge, they can get indulged into one another. The deficiency symptom of one may get confused with that of the other, or a macronutrient deficiency may get coincided with the micronutrient deficiency. So it is very difficult to get the proper recognition of a particular mineral deficiency. The toxicity symptoms are very difficult to identify. Toxicity levels for any element also vary for different plants. That means different plants may have different particular mineral ion level toxicity. Many times, excess of an element may inhibit the uptake of another element. What happens is that a particular element inhibits the uptake of another element. Example, the prominent symptom of the manganese toxicity is the appearance of brown spots surrounded by chlorotic veins. Once again, the prominent symptom of the manganese toxicity: when manganese is sucked by a plant in excess, it may prove toxic. And the manganese toxicity is recognized by the appearance of the brown spots surrounded by chlorotic veins. It is important to know that manganese competes with iron and magnesium for uptake and with magnesium for binding with enzymes. This manganese competes with iron and magnesium. It competes with iron and magnesium for uptake and with magnesium for binding with enzymes. Manganese also inhibit calcium translocation in shoot apex. Therefore, excess of manganese may in fact induce deficiencies of iron, magnesium and calcium, because it becomes a hurdle for the absorption and the use of these particular elements, and that is the reason why it can prove toxic for a particular plant. Therefore, excess of the manganese in fact induce deficiencies of iron, magnesium and calcium. Thus, what appears as symptom of manganese toxicity may actually be the deficiency symptoms of iron, magnesium and calcium. And this is the knowledge that is very important for the farmers who cultivate different types of the crops and different types of the orchards. And there, firstly, they have to make sure the soil chemistry, that particular soil, what it is deprived of, what it contains in excess, and that is to be made proportionately favorable for the particular type of the plant that ought to be cultivated in a particular type of soil, and that is only known when we know the soil chemistry of that particular soil. And so not only the deficiency of a particular nutrient may affect the proper growth and nourishment and development of the plant, but also this is to remember here, but also the excess of any nutrient, especially the micronutrients, the nutrients which are required in the lower proportions, and these can also be toxic for a particular plant and inhibit or may reduce the growth of that particular plant when absorbed in excess or in more than the normal range. And thanks. Have a nice day.